What's good, everyone? This is your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. And yes, indeed, it is another one. So we got brother Anton Daniels in the broadcast room, and he's going to explain a lot right here, okay? All right. We got to get down to brass tacks here. So, yes, we're going to, of course, this is the bottom line news. So we're going to report some news here, too, as well. And this is the thing right here. And Tom Daniels is going to explain to us about the situation with these tariffs in China, having their little dispute and trying to fight back and all this type of stuff after China has been giving us the raw end of the stick for decades. Oh, China. You don't want to accept any of our products, but for somehow, some way, we've been over here in America. America is the workhorse of the world, and I've said this on previous broadcasts and things like that. We've been accepting all China's products. Everything's made in China, the TVs, all this other type of stuff, but you won't even buy a little bit from us. So screw you, China. At the end of the day, though, we're about to go here now. We're about to see what China has to say about a few things, and we're going to let Anton Daniels explain the economics of this situation. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
If you look at it, not only with China, but China was by far the biggest abuser in history, and others also. But somebody had to do it. They had to stop because it was not sustainable. Last year, China made $1 trillion off trade with the United States. That's not right. And now I've reversed it. It's for a short period of time, but we made $2 billion. We're making now $2 billion a day. And somebody had to do it. Roger actually said it. Charles Schwab was here a little while ago, one of the great financial people, and he said he's been waiting for 40 years for somebody to do what I did over the last month. And if you didn't do it, you wouldn't have a country. It wouldn't be sustainable. So I'm honored to have done it. And, look, nothing's over yet, but we have a tremendous amount of spirit from other countries, including China. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it. It's one of those things they don't know how quite. They're proud people. And President Xi's a proud man. I know him very well. And they don't know quite how to go about it, but they'll figure it out. They're in the process of figuring it out, but they want to make a deal. And we have many other countries, as you know, many more than 75. And they all want to come, and they want to come here, or they'll go to Commerce, or they'll go to Treasury. We have our great senators here and congressmen.
However you book, first check Kayak to search hundreds of travel sites at once.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to get commercials. It is what it is. Jesus Christ. And they're trying to give you commercials back to back. Sorry about this, guys.
They'll call John. They'll do somebody. They'll go through somebody, but they're all calling, how do we do this? They all want to make a deal. Somebody had to do what we did, and I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it. And that's what I did with China, because they did retaliate. So we'll see how it all works out. I think it's going to work out amazing. I think that our country is going to be at the end of a year or shorter, but I think we're going to have something that nobody would have dreamt possible. A man like Roger Penske, I don't want to get him in trouble with China, so I won't, but he would know that someday you have to cut the bow and you have to do what you have to do, right, Roger? And that's what I did, and I'm very happy to have done it.
So what this is shaping up to be is really, and this is what we anticipated and talked about on the Millionaire Morning Show, is it's shaping up to be a trade war with China. Canada, yeah, we get it. Mexico, really, that was mainly a border issue. And also we know that Mexico was basically being used as a pawn to get Chinese products into the United States of America.
Now, basically, you know what I'm saying? And, let me just add my commentary into this. So, yes, China, you know what I'm saying, which Anton has explained before, which I've explained before, China is being, you know what I'm saying, that they were supposed to be building a lot of, infrastructure, a lot of things in Mexico. China was supposed to be building a lot of, their cars and stuff there in Mexico to ship them over here to us and, other things, but this is the thing here. to allow such things to go on, and China has been capitalizing off of America for decades now. You know, if I'm an early, millennial. So, I remember, growing up, China was not this superpower and things like that, like it is today. China was in very dire straits, 40, 50 years ago. It's only that, America, which, the Clinton administration and all that stuff, sold off our industries and things like that, which our young men nowadays can't graduate high school and go work in these plants and stuff like that, which men before could. The reason why we having these issues in society to where, a lot of men, every man, not, college is not for every man. College is not for every man. Some men like to work with their hands, like I said in other broadcasts and things like that. But this is the point here. Once those industries got sold off to other countries and stuff like that, they are paying these people less wages than what over here in America that Americans will demand, because our wages work different and things like that. And yes, they sold them off for cheaper goods and stuff like that. And that's the reason why, China's trying to hold on so hard. Let's keep going a little bit.
Which is one of the reasons why he renegotiated the North America Free Trade Agreement. But still, at the same time, once we put tariffs on China, back when Trump was in office on his first term, that Biden left in place.
Right.
They started to build up infrastructure and plants and manufacturing and assembly plants down in Mexico. So they would ship their products over to Mexico, assemble them, and then ship them into the United States of America to try to, they didn't try to, they actually avoided the tariffs that Biden left in place from the Trump administration that was supposed to set the precedent for solving for this trade deficit in the first place. And
right. So Trump put in his first term, he put the tariffs in place for China specifically, that country. China undermined the situation, brought things to Mexico, which we didn't have the tariffs at that time on Mexico. So, they was able to, build things in Mexico, ship them to the U.S., charge the profits that they wanted to charge and things like that, which provided the situation. So they totally escaped the tariffs that was on China by building in Mexico. That's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? These people are underhanded. And, let's just keep it real. I get it. Okay, fine. But the problem is now that they've been found out for the situation, they want to try to resist, but it is what it is, though. America has been the workhorse for the world long enough.
So what the French coast is there to think about?
It's been long enough that you're sucking out taxpayer dollars, and you're doing all this stuff right here. You're shipping your Toyotas and your Lexuses and whatever other companies that you bought over here, and making us pay egregious amounts when y'all making this shit for pennies on a dollar from Mexico to China, because you ain't paying them people in China no money. Cut the crap.
And I've explained to you guys a million times how China takes advantage of, and they built up an entire economy and became the number 2 world power behind the idea that we basically subsidized and helped them create the infrastructure and also allowed for previous presidents in which we had no idea. Well, the general public didn't have any idea, because the thing that they promote during election cycles, they actually agreed with the fact that we needed to create tariffs, but instead we sold out the American people, gave out American jobs, and gave all of our manufacturing over to China and other places, which then gave rise to the Chinese people and the Chinese population and made them a modern country, because they had so many people and they didn't really have any industry, which now they have over 440 million vehicles on the road, because they made sure that they forced us to partner with their companies 50-50 in order to do business. And then they still didn't really let us into their country to compete with their automakers to sell to their people.
If you owe IRS back tax.
Hold on.
All of the Chinese products over here. So what this is really shaping up to be, because we already knew that the other countries were going to get in line because they need to do business with the United States of America because we consume the most products, right? We basically take everybody's products in here and we don't really export into any of these other countries and be able to sell to them at a profit. As a matter of fact, and I shared this information on the Millionaire Morning Show today, historically, for decades, U.S. automakers, even if they sold over into other countries, the majority of their profits, 90+% of their profits actually came from the United States of America. We don't even make small cars here for the majority of the automakers now. They've basically gave all of that work overseas. Buicks are imported. That was an American brand. Buick is a Chinese company now.
Damn.
It's made over there and then it's imported into the United States of America. Buicks are imported.
What?
The rest of the small cars, if they're even.
Hold on. Buick has been sold off. An American proud company, Buick, has been sold. I didn't even know that. This is crazy.
Sold. A lot of these smaller SUVs or CUVs are now imported over into Mexico.
Damn.
And it's just not best for the American consumer. So he's absolutely right. At some point, somebody had to have the balls to do the thing that's in the best interest of the American people, both short-term and long-term. And that's what you see him talking about right now.
Right. Shout out to Anton.
What the French coach is going to think about?
Yeah, we're not done. We're not done. You know what I'm saying? We're not done right now. And you know what I'm saying? We're going to get into more right here because this is serious. And you people need to start understanding that how serious this situation is right here, dealing with, you know, our American economy and things like that. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? The previous administrations, it's not just Biden. We have to understand this. It's not just Biden. It goes all the way back to the 90s where our economy has been sold off. That's the reason why I keep screaming all the time in previous broadcasts that we are America's we are the world's workhorse. As Americans, we've been the world's workhorse for quite some time now. Why do you think we get products and stuff like that that's sold from these other countries and things like that? And we buy from China, Japan, Taiwan. If you look on your labels of your clothing, your products, your TVs, all that type of stuff, we are buying from other countries. They're taking our jobs and manufacturing them and giving those people in those other countries pennies on the fucking dollar out here.
So what the French coach is going to think about?
Pennies on the dollar. This is crazy. This is crazy. All right, so we're going to keep going because, yeah, we got a little bit more here. Let's go here now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect. The entire world is calling the United States of America, not China, because they need our markets, they need our consumers, and they need this president in the Oval Office to talk to them. And that's exactly why more than 75 countries have called, because the United States of America is the best place in the world to do business. And as the president has shown great courage, as the secretary has said, in choosing to retaliate against China even higher. Elena, go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Treasury Secretary Bessent. Can you explain more of the decision making on what feels like a reversal here? I think just these went into effect less than 15 hours ago, these tariffs. Why the pause now? What led to that?
No, again, President Trump created maximum negotiating leverage for himself, and which tariffs went into effect 15 hours ago. The ones that we have lowered went into effect a week ago. They were announced a week ago, and we've just been overwhelmed by the response from mostly our allies who want to come and negotiate in good faith. So we are expecting them to come with their best deal. As I said a week ago today, don't retaliate, hold your ground, let's see what happens. And China, they kept escalating, and now they have 125% tariffs that will be effective immediately.
Mr. Secretary.
Modern diets lack the
125% tariffs. Hold on here.
What has happened in the market?
Hold on. Sorry, Anton. 125% tariffs. So China really wants to play this game. Does China really want to play that game? Because at the end of the day, like I keep saying, if America citizens are the world's workhorse and buying products from everybody else across the motherfucking world, does China really want to play this game? China, do you really want to play this game? Do you really want to play this game? Because I'm telling you right now, you know what I'm saying? Your little Toyotas and all the little cars and TVs and everything else that you make, do you really want to play this game? Because your people in your country not buying them products on mass like that. What other part of the world is China going to be able to sell anything to en masse the way America actually spends the money? Think about this thing. Think about it. En masse. The way Americans spend, the way we spend money over here in America, the way that we work and the wages that we make over here in America, you know what I'm saying? The way that we spend money, is China really ready to deflect from our market? Are they really ready for that? Who's going to buy those TVs? Who's going to buy those cars? Are they really ready to apply those type of tariffs upon us? Are they really ready for that? Is China ready to go back to where they used to be, in the 70s and 80s?
Market is exactly what I predicted. It's the thing that we talk about on the Millionaire Morning Show every single day. It's the thing that we're talking about in Stock Club tonight. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And I had this conversation and I told people over the last few days, I said, listen, stop making emotional decisions. Never panic. Everything is cyclical. This is a buying opportunity. I've said it 1,000 times on this platform. A lot of y'all are sitting there and you did not take advantage. We make money going down and we make money going up. This is a buying opportunity for us as far as the market is concerned. As of the recording of this video, I'm watching it right now. The Dow is at 6.5%. S&P 500 is at over 8%, and the NASDAQ is at 10.5%. And so we made money all the way around because we did not make an emotional decision, and this was so transparent of what this is going to happen. And long term, I believe that the market is going to be incredible. More importantly, let's talk about the tariff situation. All right, I want to deep dive into that. So obviously, the United States of America is not going to blink. And some people would ask, and they would say, well, how are they able to have this tariff war with China and not worry about the impact that this is going to have in the United States of America? Is because we are the biggest economy and China is our biggest trading partner, which means that they leverage the United States of America and their consumers in order to generate significant revenue, in order to prop up their economy, which is still in a bubble from a real estate perspective. And they're using their manufacturing prowess, which we basically helped establish, to continue to take the air out of the real estate bubble. Now, they're trying to show dominance. They're trying to show that they have leverage. They're trying to show, hey, yo, listen, we're the second biggest consumers in world economy or whatever, or we're the second biggest superpower in the world. But again, you're second. And a lot of it is interdependent on the United States of America. And it's so disproportionate as far as the amount of products that we take in from them versus what we're able to export over into their economy, that they need us 10 times over more than we need them. And more importantly, you've seen that a lot of these different countries said that, you know what, we're going to go ahead and chill. We're going to wait. We're going to call. They said that over 70 countries has contacted the United States of America to basically meet with them in person. And Trump likes to negotiate in person, to meet with them in person in order for them to solve for this whole tariff situation, because it's not just tariffs. It's not just, trading. It's also that they cost us, and every country has its different rules. While we allow for them to do business inside of the United States of America, they then prevent us from being able to export our products and then create a great business climate and economy for us to be able to be comparative or to sell to their consumers. So what you basically see is now it went from 84% to 104% to 124% tariffs on China because they decided to retaliate with an 84% tariff against the United States of America. So we have the majority of the leverage, and the world wants to do business with the United States of America. And as a result, the market is reacting in a positive way as a result of it. Check it out. Let's continue.
Yo, it is what it is. It is what it is. Hold on. It just is what it is at this point. And these are the things right here. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to chill out here right now. You know what I'm saying? Because, brother Anton Daniels knows his finances. He knows what he's speaking about. And this is our problem over here in America. You know what I'm saying? Due to our politics and a lot of other things, you know what I'm saying? The media programming and stuff like that, brainwashing all the citizens and stuff like that, at least the ones that are still brainwashed, but the ones that have broken out and trying to, escape that thought process. Yes, it is what it is. In order to get this country back in order for us as Americans, for us to be more selfish. Sorry, but I'm going to say it. Yeah, we as Americans need to be more selfish. It's time. We've been babysitting. We've been, feeding the rest of the world, all this stuff. We've been doing a lot of stuff off the backs of American citizens, you know what I'm saying, with our work process and things like that. Yeah, we've done too much. They've enjoyed us giving them money for decades now. It's time out. It's time out. Now, to rearrange this situation, yeah, it's going to be a little sting, but it is what it is, though. In order to get shit back in order like it's supposed to be. For us. And if you live in this country, you're born in this country, and at the end of the day, though, you think the rest of these countries are going to allow you to come there and things like that as an American citizen, they look at you like boo-boo the fool too. You are an American, and you not need to take any type of side for any other country, because they're not going to actually allow you there like you're born in. Sorry, but it is what it is. And yeah, these are just the facts. Shout out to Anton Daniels, man, for,
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Yeah, shout out to him for breaking this thing down, because this is real. This is real. This is where we at here in America. This is where we at. And for you, you traders and, you people out there that want to sit there and, act like this is not your home and stuff like that because of whatever minuscule things that you don't agree with, this is still your home. The rest of the world is not going to accept you like that. And it just is what it is. It just is what it is. Yeah, man. So, yeah, China ain't got no choice. They're going to have to get in line if they want to keep selling their products to us, period. Because obviously, Britain and Brazil and all these other places, you know what I'm saying? Europe, Italy, they're not buying products like we buy products over here in America. So, yeah, we are the world's economy. We are the world's workhorse. And I've said this previous times in multiple broadcasts on my page. We are the world's workhorse. And our problem is that we are not demanding and making sure that the rest of the world respects our dollar, our hard-working dollar. When we buy off these, platforms and the Amazon, the Temu, they're not respecting us how they should be. And screw them now. We need to start making our own stuff. We need to start bringing our manufacturing back home. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.